what you mean speed.
Tell him.
No. Have you started yet, or when are you starting the tape?
She's on a roll now, right? It looks like it. She's rolling the first minute.
Welcome very, very much to Conversation. It's a pleasure to welcome to the program one of my dearest friends that I've ever had in all of my adult life. Too bad we couldn't have known each other when we were youngsters in kindergarten. We could have been playing around and having a good time. But in my adult life, one of my favorite friends that I've ever known is Dr. Larry Gell. He's sitting here to my left, and we're going to be talking with him about his extraordinary life's experience up to the moment in one program, which will be this first one that we're setting off now. And on the second program, we're going to talk a little bit more about where do we go from here now that we've got to where we is, if you understand. So Larry, welcome to Conversations, back to Manhattan. You've had a lot of time here, and welcome to the program. It's so good to have you on the set.
Well, thank you, Harold, and I would like to welcome you.
To MNN, is that it?
I'm going to reverse it because you are MNN as far as I'm concerned, as far as most people know.
I'm one of the few. I'm one of the many that are here. There's all kinds of good people. Josiane sitting in the director's booth and all these people. And the memory of George Stoney, who got it all started in public access, is a major facility that ought to be celebrated. And you've been involved in that. But you've also been involved in a very, very interesting life that began some time ago, if I'm not mistaken, upstate New York, am I right? Where you were born and raised. Maybe you could begin with that. It's a good beginning, the being born.
Yes.
It's got a way about it that has a beginning quality
nice about it to
that is nice, yeah.
Dover, Delaware.
Dover, Delaware. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Now talk about it, yeah.
Dover, Delaware, because my father worked for Eastman Kodak.
Okay.
And he snuck away in the middle of the night, got my mother up at 3 o'clock in the morning, to her shock, without telling her, stripped the house down. This is before 1940.
Before 1940, okay, yeah.
So in the 30s, 39, 38, whatever it was.
Yeah, right.
And got her out of the house in the middle of the night, put her in a car, and then guys came in, took all the furniture out. She didn't even know what was going on, and they moved to Dover, Delaware. So he snuck away from Kodak without telling them, and he went down to Dover, Delaware, beginning in the early part of the war.
Kodak was upstate New York, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where.
Rochester, New York.
So you had been there.
Yeah, we left there and went to Dover, Delaware. Drove all the way down, no expressway.
In the dark of the night or something?
Yes.
Was he heading away from the revenuers or something like that, or what was it? I mean, was he on the lam? Or what it sounds like? You got to explain. That's like a Hitchcock movie, and you just don't let it hang there. You got to make a little, that's you're getting introduced into the world.
Yes.
That may explain a lot of your behavior, if
does.
I think I can interpret it that way.
Yes.
Get a shrink that can do it. But proceed. You're on your way to Dover. Running from...
Well, I wasn't born at that point.
You weren't born. You were a gleam in your daddy's eye.
Yeah,
okay,
I became born down in Dover, Delaware.
Oh, I see, right.
And my father went down there to start a company called International Latex Corporation, which is now walking around in all women's bras and panties and so forth. That's the
walking around in panties.
Yes, and bras.
Oh, right.
Okay. It's a latex. It's just like a rubber.
This is a show that goes out in the afternoon.
Oh.
I want you to. I just let you know, in case you didn't realize, this is not the midnight hour thing. You know.
Okay, I'll make sure I tone that down.
Yeah, right.
So we went there to start the International Latex Corporation and to start me. Okay. And that didn't last very long, and we ended up back in Rochester, New York, where I grew up.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We went back to Kodak and back to Rochester.
And Kodak is Rochester. I mean, I think of Kodak as there, and I think of that as movie. Do you remember Bonnie and Clyde? Get the Kodak body, you know? There's a Kodak. Everybody just click, and taking cameras and all that. So was he involved with the Kodak company or what?
Yes, he was a senior officer who was in charge of all the productions machinery.
What was this midnight run to Dover? Why did we bring that up even before you were here? I don't know. What if you wanted to? This is the session. We're here on the couch and we're getting it all straight, and it may have meaning. We could try and pick up on it and make some interpretation of dreams and everything. But go ahead. Yeah.
This is my old buddy over here.
Yeah, right. No, we're trying to help. We're here to help.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Oh, well.
You're up in Dover, up there in Rochester.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Well, he left Eastman Kodak, and he
Yeah.
didn't tell Kodak.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't tell my mother. He just put
How
her
did
out
he
of the
get
house.
back into Kodak after having to sneak out the back door? If that's
Well,
the way I get interpretation, I don't know.
Well, I grew up with him in the house as one of the top executives for Kodak in the manufacturing.
They accepted him back when he came from
Yeah,
Dover.
absolutely, because he was important.
He was
to that.
really, so you had a smart father.
Yeah, I think
He
so.
moved quick.
Yeah, I think
He
he
could
was-
get a lot done.
Yeah.
He was entrepreneurial.
Yeah, he was good.
That sounds like Larry Gell. Is you like a chip off the old block?
Oh, maybe.
You fly around in airplanes, and you go to you go to the Strategic Air Command and all these kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Proceed, McDuff.
Okay, since we're on this roll,
Yes.
I have to apologize
For
because everybody asks me, "Were you in the service?" And I say yes. Then everybody says, "Thank you for your service."
thank you for your service. But wait a minute. You better hear this first before you're sure you want to thank him, because I did service. I was a soldier. I had to crawl through mud and whatnot. So you could thank me for my service and everything. But him is another story. Tell him about your time in the service with all that,
Shooting.
entrepreneurial get-go that your father imbued and your probably mother had at hand. But you were, it's called hustle. You were a bit of a hustler.
Well, let me ask you, because you were in the Army.
Hustling the system, I would suggest.
Well, I don't know, but you were in the Army.
I was.
Did you ever shoot guns in the Army?
I had to. I was.
Did you
Yes,
crawl
and it was
under the
very.
wire?
Yeah, I had to.
Did you-
The
did you
barbed
go in
wire
those-
with the machine gun fire going
Yeah,
right
the
over
real
your head.
bullets yeah. Did you go in? Right. Did you go into these sheds where you had to put your gas mask on and take it
Yes,
off and
it's
try
terrible. Tear gas. Yeah, you had to do all
You
that
did that.
nonsense. Yeah, and crawl through mud
Yeah,
and all that
really?
stuff, and fire a machine gun and everything.
Did
They
you-
couldn't understand it because I was from Detroit and really sort of, a smart ass and everything, and
Yeah.
trying to get out of duty. Didn't want to be there, wanted to do things democratically and everything. And they couldn't figure it out because there were some of these tough guys. There were a lot of tough guys,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of
and
tough
everything.
guys.
I can do this. I can shoot turkey.
That's
like
the Army. We need them tough like that.
Sergeant York or something like that and everything.
Did
I
you
was
do
just
ru-
wanted to get out.
did
As soon
you
as I
have-
got in, I wanted to get out.
Did you have to put a big bag on
Yes,
you
a
and
big
then
heavy
run
pack
around
and
places
yes,
and walk?
and do all that nonsense. And
Yeah.
to me it was nonsense. And these guys, a lot of guys thought it was like what they call, regular Army gung ho and everything. But they
Well-
were surprised. M1 rifle, I got the best score.
You shot them.
I was the schmuck up of the company, and
oh, he was
everything.
a
And
good
I
shot.
got the best score with the M1 rifle and the carbine, the 16.
Should have made him a
They
sniper.
couldn't figure that one out at all.
Yeah.
Neither could I.
Yeah.
But anyway, never mind. Yes, I did. Now, what
So-
about your time in the military?
Yes, well, I want to apologize.
He is a con man. No,
may be
that's not
true.
true. You were
It may be true.
entrepreneurial. You were entrepreneurial in developing a different way of doing things rather than crawling around in the mud and
Yeah.
doing all that.
Yeah.
You had a different kind of experience
Yeah.
as an enlisted man in the
Yeah.
Army. Tell me about your life in
Okay.
the military.
Well, when they thanked me for my service, I really would like to apologize because, in reality, I roller skated through the United States Air Force.
Now wait a minute. Well, you're
shoot it.
kidding.
I've never
You're
shot a
kidding. We got ourselves a comedy of a movie. Yeah, right. In
I-
your dreams, you roller
I
skated.
never shot a gun. I didn't crawl under the wires. I just saw the
How
gas.
did you bug out of that?
You want the
Yes,
honest,
I want the honest
sorry.
truth, and I think it'll be good for your own consciousness if you
I've
tell
been
it
wanting to-
honest. Just put it out, and you'll feel so much better the next day.
See, I've been wanting to do this for
Yeah.
years. And see, this is why I like this
You-
guy.
it's for
He
your
gives
own
you an
interest.
opportunity to be honest.
Absolutely, totally honest. Now,
Okay, we were down in Texas in Lackland Air Force Base,
Yeah.
and they gave us shots.
enlisted men.
Yeah, shots in both arms. You couldn't pick your arms up, and then he said, you got to run around that place. I said, I couldn't even see the end of it. 3 times, we're going to make men out of you. You're going to run around 3
All
times.
that man making. It's
Then you're going to
awful.
go over there like this guy, and you're going to shoot the guns, crawl under the bullets overhead, keep your head down, crawl through the mud, and then you're going to go in that room with a gas. We're going to turn the gas on you. You have to put your gas mask on, take your gas mask off, and say your name, put your gas.
Coffins, tear up and everything. All these guys screaming at you and everything like that. It's horrible. Yeah.
So this
it's- what was it like for you?
Well, we were about to do that. I had the big back on, and this officer comes over and he says,
Mm-hmm.
you want to do all that? We said, oh, not really.
No, you did. Did everybody that was in your coterie?
No, a lot
Was
of
there a
them.
whole bunch of you? No, they're
Yeah,
all.
sure.
It's called
Some of them.
gung ho.
Yeah, a bunch
I
of
was
those
never
guys.
gung ho
Me
at
neither,
all.
Me neither. So they said, well, if you don't want to do that, go across the street over there. There's a big army truck,
Yeah.
and put your bags in the truck.
Well, go and do it.
So I did.
Yeah, right. Well, you see, you're smart. You're really smart. And when
getting
opportunity presents itself, you're not lacking in taking advantage of it.
I was getting
That's
trained.
smart. Yeah.
So I put
Some
my
people are
bag over
smart,
there, and
some
then
are
the
like
guy
me.
said to me, you got your bag over here. Do you want to go over there again and shoot those guns and all that stuff? I said, not really. They said, get in the truck.
Get in the truck. Yeah, okay.
So there's a bunch of us. We got in the truck.
Yeah,
We
okay.
didn't know where we were going. It looked better than over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wants to go in the mud?
So we drove around, and we got to this great big building.
Yeah.
And they said, if you got any quarters with you, or we can put you on the debt, for it. You can sign you up. I said, well, what do you need
Put
quarters
it on
for?
put it on the tab.
Yeah, put it on the
Run
tab.
out the back.
And I said, well, what are we doing? They said, go in that building. You're going to roller skate.
Roller skate.
And I met the greatest guys here in New York City, African, Black, American, what is that, African Americans, and a bunch of Cubans, and also a bunch of Spanish people.
Well, now
guys.
flesh it out a little bit. Roller skating instead of crawling in the mud. How did you get that to happen again? Could you be a little more? Listen, there's a lot of young men wondering how they could
were
do
gonna go in
that
the Air Force.
rather than what I did. They don't want to hear me. I want to hear what you did to roller skate rather than crawl around in the mud.
Yes, well, that's a very good question, and I don't know how it happened, but
Yeah.
I know that as long as I was
Listen well, young men. Listen well.
as long as I was in Lacan Air Force and the United States Air Force, I roller skated. We did it all the time. And I got very good at roller skating because these kids were from New York City
I
and the
got
big rinks.
rhythm, you've got rhythm. Yes, yeah, go
Yes,
on.
R&B, bounce to it,
Yeah, no, roller skating rhythm is really good, and
Yeah.
you can it's really a wonderful thing. I know you.
spin on one leg.
No, really?
Yes.
You can do the old
Jump-
spin on one leg
yes,
thing?
jump
like Fred
backwards.
Astaire on skates.
If
yeah.
you can imagine
Yeah.
this, 80 kids in a rink going around high speed to R&B music, the beat.
Now, what
R&B,
has this
and
got to
bouncing.
do with being in the military? I'd like
don't
to
know.
know. No, well, how did you happen to do it? You didn't
That's
want.
what happened.
You didn't want an explanation of how or why.
I
You
never-
just did it
I never-
rather than crawling in the mud.
I didn't want to go over there, and they said, "You want to go roller skate? You want to go over there? You want to go roller skating? $25? Oh no, 20 cents, 25 cents
Yeah.
an hour."
Yeah. And now you don't want to flesh out the context or anything like that, or where do you go to get into that kind of a gig in the military for the young men viewing? They have to go or something. Yeah, you don't want any more explanation. That rather
should I?
than crawling around in the mud and taking gas masks, you went on roller skates.
and I'm really good on roller skates.
And is that a metaphor for the rest of your time in the military and your adult life?
Yes.
And what's the
beginning of
secret?
my
What's the
training.
secret? I think besides being smart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. When I got out of the Air Force, I went to work for IBM.
Think.
Yes.
Everywhere, all over. I've been to IBM. I had think all over the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went.
That was Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I went there, that was the first computers introduced in the United States of America.
Wow.
Business computers.
Yeah. We're going to want to talk about that in the second part of the program. But go ahead.
Yes. So we were trying to sell these brand new IBM computers, which take up a whole building.
Yeah.
Had raised floor, air conditioning. You
Yeah.
may remember the big things. It
Yeah.
cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So we were in one of the big hospitals in Cincinnati, Ohio, because we figured they had money, they'd buy one of these computers. And we were waiting to
Are
see.
you still in the military? Or
No, this is after I got out.
you got an honorable discharge?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you got an honorable discharge. And did you get any medals for roller skating?
I didn't.
Did you
come
ever get a
thinking.
medal for roller skating? And
I wonder if there is
get
one.
kissed on both cheeks like something out of the French Legion? You know what I mean? With the military association with that kind of thing.
I don't
No,
know. I
you
don't
don't
think
remember
so.
any of that.
I know you got some really good ribbons.
Well, yeah, I did.
and
I got a
recently
medal.
you
I
got this
a medal
big
for-
gold medal.
I got a medal for swimming.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah. But anyway, I
got
don't want to
another-
talk about me. I want to
Oh,
talk
okay.
about Gell. This is the Gell Hour.
So we're sitting in this hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio,
Yes.
and we're in this section
Now,
which had all the women.
You're out of the Army,
Yes.
and you're with the IBM?
Yeah.
You're with the company. You're an IBM guy?
Well, I went in. Look, it's kind of a complex, convoluted
Uh-huh.
thing. But when I went to work for IBM, they asked me, "What did you do in the United States Air Force?" And
I
said,
roller skated.
I didn't tell them
you
that.
didn't tell them that.
No, I didn't tell them that.
That's called bugging out, I think.
No, it's just dropping a few things out.
It's a military, what do you call yeah.
Well, so I said I worked for generals.
Service-connected
I worked for generals as Strategic Air Command
Oh,
because I could roller skate.
Wait a minute. You had worked for generals in the Strategic Air Command. Strategic Air Command, that was the B-59 or B-20, B-52s with the atomic bombs.
Yeah.
The Strategic Air Command that
Yeah.
projected American power.
Yeah, and KC-135 tankers that refueled them as they went around the world or
Now,
whatever.
how did you get from the roller skating rink to the Strategic Air Command in the military? I mean, how did that happen? Or were you still, maybe
still
the
thinking
roller
about
skating was at night after duty and you were on leave or something? No.
Well, that was basic training.
Oh, basic, yeah.
And I was so good at roller skating,
Yeah.
they gave me this job to work with the generals.
They gave you a job in the military. You had worked with the generals in the military.
That was my first job.
Yeah.
So,
In the military.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
so I didn't shoot the guns, crawl through the mud, do the gas. I didn't have to go lieutenant, first,
You've
second
taken
lieutenant, first
the
lieutenant,
easy
captain, major, colonel, all the way to the generals. My first job was working with generals.
You were working with the generals in the military.
And they're not the generals, they were the top generals of the United States Air Force.
That's moving through the ranks pretty rapidly for a
Yeah.
young man. I
See,
mean, that's
so-
pretty clever, and it bespeaks a certain way of being
Well, you got
that
to
would be
realize.
worth taking into consideration.
You got to realize when you're on roller skates in a
That'd
room
be
with
a con
800
man.
you
Yeah.
you have to keep moving. You have
Yeah.
to dodge around, and you have
Yeah.
to really survive.
No, I know you were at the Strategic Air Command. Also, you fly airplanes around. You just happened to learn to fly airplanes and
Yeah.
everything. You
All
do.
right.
You fly airplanes now.
I remember a general. He said, "How did you get in here,
A
son?"
general officer. That's the top, folks. Yeah.
That's all we had.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any of the lower level.
Oh, I had a lot of them.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Talk about the generals in the Strategic Air Command.
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Do you want to know about the
Iowa?
roller
Is that
skating?
in Iowa? Is that in Iowa or something?
Council Bluffs,
Iowa.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm mixing it up. Council Bluffs, Iowa is where we had a flying club. Across the Missouri River is where the Strategic Air Command Center is.
Is that
And
where
it's-
it remains there?
It's still there. Still there.
That's not that's not classified or anything, right? Okay, yeah.
I don't know if it
It's
is
a
or
pretty
not.
big extension of American power, and a lot of the American budget that we're all paying our taxes for.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we have NORAD and we have the Strategic Air Command.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
This
So-
is true. He was there. You had conned you had
No,
worked
I
your way
learned-
up the ladder. Yeah.
I learned my first lesson of education.
Okay, do.
Here- and I'll share-
Gentlemen
Here it is.
and ladies, if you want, listen to this words of wisdom about living in the modern world.
Yes. The most important rule in life is it's not.
Write it down, maybe, right?
It's not what you know.
Yeah. It's not what you know.
No.
It's
It's not your education.
It's not your
what you
education.
know.
It's not your hard work. It's not Abraham Lincoln in front of the fire reading the books.
Absolutely
It-
not.
Nothing. None of that.
It's not going to school,
Not hard.
college, and owing the colleges $100,000 when you graduate
But
for
what-
a job that doesn't exist.
But
then
what
just get
is
that
it?
way.
What is it?
What is it?
Yeah, there's a whole youthful America listening. They're getting direction from this.
Here's the message.
how
It's not what you
how
know.
to hang out with the generals instead of the schmucks in the army. Yeah.
It's right here. See this guy?
Yeah.
Here's the message. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
I've heard that one. I've heard that.
and
Yeah.
more importantly,
How did you get to know about the generals? And all I knew was a few buck privates like Abbott Costello.
more importantly, let me add this. More
Hmm.
importantly, it's not only who you know, it's who you know who knows other people.
Oh, who you know,
they
who
know.
knows other people.
Who
I
you
think
know.
there's a lesson in that.
there
Yeah.
is. Well,
Yeah.
look at my
Yeah.
life, my whole career.
So you really were with the general
Yeah.
in the Strategic Air
Yeah.
Command. And what were you doing? You were a gopher him, or what were you doing?
Polishing their
The shoes and everything. No, tell me about it. You really did. Yeah, yeah.
Well, they didn't have any computers out. IBM
No.
hadn't. There were no computers in America that the public
Well, you're
knew
still
about.
you were in the military before you went to IBM.
Yeah. So IBM had given us the only scientific computer that was around.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no compilers, no assemblers, no languages. We had to code that computer in machine language, which is zeros and ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You were a programmer. Or no, you were
So
there.
they didn't know
You
what-
were assisting the general officer. You don't have to know any of this stuff. There's a bunch of people to do that, like the ones who served the lords in the castles of medieval Europe. They got people
That's a
who
good
will
analogy.
do that.
That's a
yeah,
good
yeah,
analogy.
right. Okay, yeah, okay. Just to keep it straight. Yeah.
So I'm skipping now. We're in the hospital trying to sell one of these big computers.
Okay.
I'm sitting in this room with all the women that go to the hospital for whatever reason. It's basically a woman's area, and there's a bunch of magazines there. And I pick up this magazine called Woman's Day. I think it was called Woman's Day.
Women's Day. Yeah.
And it opens right automatically right to the center page, a big spread. And it says on this paper, here's what it says.
What did it say?
It says, scandal in Lackland Air Force Base. Got my attention. I said,
Is that where you were, like?
Yeah,
You were
that's where we did our basic training in the Air Force.
Yeah, and there was a
That's
scandal.
where I did my roller
It
skating.
was right there, right?
Scandal, big words all the way across 2 pages.
You'd made it to the big time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the national distribution, man. Yeah, all the ladies would be zeroing in on you. Yeah.
And here was a picture of a big roller rink.
A roller.
So big type, scandal at Lackland Air Force Base. And the rest of it was a big roller
This is
rink.
really elements of a whole truthful story that ought to be a movie. Woody Allen could direct. But go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
So it said,
Yeah. What did it
the
say?
base commander at Lackland Air Force Base had a brother-in-law who was in construction. And they built roller rinks on the base for us and charged the 25 cents.
Did you get all that? People in the audience is sure as hell gone past me. I can't quite connect all that together. But there was some general with a drawer that you were not to ever have anything
Oh,
to do with.
that was down at the command center when
That
we
was
went
the
up
command.
to Omaha.
Oh, that was there, Omaha up
Yeah.
there. But it
But
was
it's all the same
It
kind of
was the
stuff.
Strategic Air Command. You hung out with the generals rather than the privates.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a bad idea if you can pull it off, I guess, But and it might have meaning in terms of the overall world.
For the rest of my
Hang
life.
out with the generals
Yes.
rather than the schmuck.
And there was given by the generals a wonderful rule of life,
Yes.
which I later applied in business. It became the secret of my success in business.
Mm.
And the rule was, the generals told me, don't ever go downstairs and talk to anybody below a general.
Yeah.
I said, well, what about the colonels and the majors
Rank
and all that?
has its privileges
That's it.
in the world, little boys and girls.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
yeah. In fact, they have all the privileges, it would seem. Yeah.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
going to get to that. in
Yeah,
greater
let's
depth
get to that when we
talk
get
about
down to the
economic
part about
development.
justice, and all that. Yeah, right. And democracy.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
After I got out of the Air Force, actually it was part of IBM, I set up my own consulting business, and I only consult to presidents because the generals taught me never go down and talk to anybody below that.
Presidents of companies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I went to work for presidents, the presidents would say, go down and talk to the vice president. I'd go down, and I'd go out the front door and go home.
Why was that?
Because the generals taught me never go down below the generals and talk to the colonels and the majors. And so
Yeah.
forth.
Colonels
And
and
when I got
majors
in
were about
business-
as high as I could ever see a distance. Yeah, right.
So
Okay.
they were way down the line.
Yeah, well, it's a funny world. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, this is all more or less true, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean it sounds fantasized, but it's not. It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit. Yeah, go on. Mhm.
It seems strange, doesn't it?
It do.
Yes.
Yes, but it may be a lesson in living, boys and girls. Yeah. Mm.
That's really funny. It leads into something very funny, but I think I'm going to avoid it.
And let me ask you one big question, okay, if I may.
Sure.
You never did any time, right?
What do you mean time?
Time in prison, for crying out loud. Most people who play a life like that, they end up for a few days or months or years in, incarceration. You avoided incarceration with all of this hijinks.
Now watch the link, audience.
Yeah,
This is
the link.
Army guy, right?
Yeah, well,
So I get involved with my relatives, who is a West Point cadet.
flew
Who
around
later-
with Strategic Air Command generals,
He later goes to
roller skating.
gets as high as a captain in the United States Army.
Yeah.
And then he for some reason, they...
I got bucked for a first class, private first class.
Oh, see.
I got one stripe.
Oh, you got it?
Yes.
That's good. I never gave me
And
that.
I got a medal for swimming.
Yeah.
So anyway.
They never gave me any of that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
They just
Yeah,
gave me the boot, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, I got this guy, helped him get a job in the FBI.
FBI out as a civilian now. You're
Yeah.
out.
No,
And
he-
you used to
He
fly.
was a captain. Wait a minute, he was a captain.
How did you? Yeah, yeah.
And then he got out of the service as a captain, came to New Jersey and looking for a job, and I helped him, and my wife helped him get a job in the FBI in New York City.
Okay.
And
Now
then,
there was a part in there that you used to fly airplanes.
oh, that's
You would fly like jet airplanes and stuff. Fly them. Is that true? You can fly airplanes.
yes,
Yes. All these he goes.
and gliders.
I can hardly get a scooter. I mean, you know.
and gliders
Yeah.
with no engines in them.
And gliders. You did gliders as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, I'm rated for gliders.
You're rated for gliders in the military.
No,
No.
civilian,
Civilian, right?
no propellers,
But he does. He flies airplanes.
and I'm rated for
who flies
seaplanes.
airplanes?
Seaplanes too.
Seaplanes too.
Seaplanes.
See, it sounds like fantasy, doesn't it? It sounds like Wizard of Oz or something, you know. But it's true.
Yeah.
And there's a. You got. When did you get that?
That's what the generals always do when I was trying to talk to them.
You got that down pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. This is something you've got to learn right here, right on the camera. What is that? Show them the
When somebody's talking to you.
and it's the turn of the head. You got it down, right?
You don't get this in college. They
No,
don't
you
teach
don't
you
get
this
it in
stuff
any
in college.
college I know of. You're not, yeah. But it's all the important stuff, right?
It is. It's
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah. So.
You see Trump doing his thing, you know. the
Yeah,
president?
right.
He's
Trump.
got his.
Mr. Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, you see here, I'm an athlete.
Wow.
I've got a pen that's got a golf club.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I said
Gold.
to you, do you know the president? He's
Yeah.
president
I know,
of the
he's
whole
our
country, the
president.
world,
Yeah.
and everything. And he's
From New York City.
I said it to you, and I wonder. Let's ask the audience. So, what do you think? He's a little bit overweight, don't you
Yeah.
think? Yeah, not so
Some
trim.
of- some of
He's
us are, but go
little-
ahead.
But what do you think, ladies and gentlemen of the audience? What do you think? Now, what you would want to think, if you're a Democrat or a socialist or something, you probably think one thing. If you think, if you're a capitalist or whatever, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And everything, you would have a thought about him. What do you think is his handicap? That his handicap is his score as a golfer. He's got golf courses all over the place. And according to the way a lot of people think, you can own the golf courses, but a handicap is a thing of the pros or something. But what do you think his handicap is? Anybody want to make a guess?
Does handicap mean how many?
How many over par? What's your relationship to par? For how many?
And
Each
par is
hole
how
has so many.
Oh.
So many yards. You have to get the ball from here to there in the hole, and if you can do it within so many hits of the club
Yeah.
and everything,
Yeah.
he had. If I'm understanding it right, he had a 2.8. He could have been a
That-
pro.
that's
He could be a
staggering.
pro golfer. When he competes, he'll be able to go out and become a pro golfer. He can make a lot of money being a pro. He could go on the circuit.
Yeah. Well, I tried golfing, but all of my balls went into the woods or
Yeah.
someplace. They never went down.
So you're not so good at
That's
the
okay.
sport.
No, but I'm good at roller
You're good
skating.
at roller skating. Yeah, I attest. I've seen you do it. And it's very rhythmic.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, I got rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah, and you
you're
hear
a
that
great
music.
dancer.
I am indeed.
I saw you
That
dance.
is true. That is
He
true.
does.
Yeah, I got rhythm. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm still trying to get the ongoing flow. You got all this stuff going in your life, and you do fly jets and props and gliders and everything. It's a very adventuresome kind of way to live. You're not exactly the guy at the corner store who just stays in one place the whole time selling, coffee to people coming in or something like
Well,
that.
if your first job is with generals, and your next job for 57
Oh.
years is with presidents,
Generals, and there's a similarity there, isn't it? Generals and presidents. Don't
Yeah.
waste your time with colonels and captains and things like
got
that,
it.
much less the masses,
got it.
Yeah, right. Napoleon thought that way.
So for the audience, 57 years consulting to presidents and generals.
Right, now 57 years consulting with, so you became a consultant to business people.
Yeah.
And you've got what's the agency called again?
Well, I started out in 1960 with Gell Associates and Company, Inc.
Gell Associates and Company, Inc. Okay.
And then in 1970, out of Hong Kong, I formed Gell International.
That's right, you were out in Hong Kong for quite a while.
15.
15 years
Yeah.
in Hong Kong. What a life! What a life! You haven't hung out in the corner store, on the corner all your life in the same village or something like.
And
a
here's one for you.
How do people get so? Yes, what?
Army one. Story for you.
Oh, Army.
I was in Vietnam. I consulted in Vietnam.
In what
from Hong Kong.
capacity were you in Vietnam? That horror of Vietnam.
I didn't say any of that. I mean, I was consulting to business people. All the big American corporations had businesses in Vietnam.
At the wartime, with the wartime raging?
Yeah, in Vietnam, sure.
What do you mean they had business? They had explain that or something. And what was?
Coca-Cola,
Oh, they had to sell Coca-Cola to all the
insurance
fellas.
companies, banks.
They were all making a fortune out of that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know how much they made.
No, but they were doing business.
Yeah.
War is a business, right? Or war has its business accoutrements or something. Yeah, yeah.
Or they go hand in hand. I don't know.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of our budget is, what is it, 60% of our budget is military now, the United States of America. That's a lot of gelt,
Yes.
a lot of gelt.
Well, if you saw any movies or
I don't know about the guilt, but the gelt is sure there, yeah.
they told at that embassy where they were fighting to get out.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. I was doing something else during that time, but
It sounds like you've been very, very, very
They ordered
active.
the
And
army.
roller skating keeps you going,
yeah, that was the key.
Yeah,
You got to have rhythm.
yeah,
You
yeah.
saw it, the bounce.
I've seen you.
bounce.
You got the bounce, yeah. You can see it. Roller skating and ice skating, too. Yeah,
No.
ice skating. Sonia Henney, remember, she could really skate.
I admit I don't have the ankles for ice skating.
No? Really?
I have to have 4 wheels in balance
I see, yeah, okay, yeah.
to get that.
Wooden wheels you like or metal? Metal.
No.
No.
What are they made out of? Plastic or something?
Plastic now? When I was a kid, they were all metal.
Yeah.
They were like, and you had to have a key to tighten them on your foot.
and
You
you
had
put
to have
them
a
on your
little key
shoes.
to put them on your shoe and tighten it,
Yeah,
right?
I never did that.
Yeah,
I
okay.
remember those, but I didn't do them.
Yeah, okay.
So.
But so you
But just
formed
the-
a company and you were consulting in Vietnam. Were you in Vietnam during the wartime? And
Yeah, I was
when-
in Hong Kong, and I was consulting from Japan to Australia. Spent a lot of time down in Vietnam.
And you were consulting with business companies or with who? Who was your
Remember,
clientele? You were
only-
like consulting,
only
right?
presidents
Uh-huh.
of
Presidents,
big international corporations.
big international corporations, many of which were involved in dealing with the war in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that really gets that war in Vietnam was horrible.
I don't know.
No, you don't know about that, right?
Although,
Okay.
however,
Oh.
my name, Gell,
Yeah.
is on the black wall down in Washington. in
Why?
Vietnam.
Why would your name? That's for the people who've perished, I
Yeah.
think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a cousin of mine, Jack Gell,
Uh-huh.
and he was shot in Vietnam by a sniper.
She's not dead. She's not dead.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So my
Horrible.
name, Jack Gell, is up on the black wall.
Yeah, right. Horrible. War is so horrible. Horrible, horrible. Yeah. But you were living in Hong Kong.
Well, while you're talking
for
about that-
10 years or so in Hong Kong?
Watch, audience.
Yeah.
Do you know what a 22 bullet looks like?
Of course. I know what it looks like, yeah.
It's a little thing, right?
Yeah, relatively, yeah.
Do you know what a 50 caliber machine gun bullet looks like?
I do. In fact, I fired a 50 caliber machine gun on top of a great big M48 tank. They had a 50 caliber machine
And how
gun.
big are they? Are they like this?
They were
big?
huge bullets. Huge
With
bullets.
a big point in the front.
Yeah, right. And they had them on a bed, and they would feed them through. And then they had a
Okay.
90 millimeter gun also. A
Also-
great big gun, a cannon. It would fight cannonballs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know how to drive an M48 tank.
So
and
I-
fire yes, I know that.
I try to explain this to our government.
Yeah. Oh, I've tried to explain things to the sergeants, how we
No.
could do things democratically. They never wanted to listen.
Yeah, see, I don't talk to the...
Get out of my face, you
That's the
punk
problem.
private. What are you
That's
doing?
the problem.
Name's Costello.
Don't go down to that level or you get into that
Put
problem.
that man on KP. Did you ever have to do KP?
Never.
Oh, kitchen police. It was, if you were on kitchen police, you cried when you woke up. It was so hard
I heard
to
some.
be in a kitchen all day long.
Yeah, because I heard some guys say that you had to wash the dishes in
Yes.
boiling water.
Yes, it's
and
horrible.
your fingers would all
And
be.
they had a thing, for those who were reminiscent of the military, they had a thing called what was it called? A grease trap. A grease trap is the thing, you got hundreds of men, and you have a thing that catches all the grease
Oh.
that's going through the system. It was really like something out of the Black Lagoon or something. It was awful. I mean, you were
And you-
just absolutely exhausted.
Oh.
It was horrible.
You had to collect the grease? Or?
But then I'm essentially lazy, so I'm not what they call gung-ho. There's some people that could do all that singing,
Oh.
and that's the right attitude that you ought to try and encourage to all the young men and women that are looking for some examples of how they ought to consider leading their lives that are just getting started.
Yeah,
we ought to keep the young kids in mind.
And we can add to that one
Yes.
of the famous sayings, and that is, don't take this life seriously because you're not going to get out of it alive.
Well,
So
that
you
is
should be
true.
singing and be happy through life.
Yeah.
Don't be miserable.
What, me worry? Wasn't there a cartoon character like that? What, me worry? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy.
That's
You
it.
gotta brew all your cares away.
that's
Sing
some-
hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're heading for the promised land.
He knows all the words too. He's a-
Yeah, all the
I just
songs
sung-
that just got us some little
just sung a
solace from the
song.
reality we've had to live.
I just
Yeah.
sung a song.
Yes. What
from
was your
Annie.
song?
The
Annie?
sun will come out tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes,
Tomorrow,
just
tomorrow,
yeah.
tomorrow,
And I sent
tomorrow.
that. I sent that song down to my friends and all
Yeah.
my relatives
Yes.
down in Florida.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
hurricane.
for the hurricane. Oh. Yeah.
Yes. Got to keep it positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep thinking positive. Well, anyway, you've had quite a really interesting life like that. And we never did get back to that general with the drawer. He had a drawer that was there.
He
If I'm
loves
right-
that story.
Oh no, it's true. It's apparently true. I've heard it in a saloon somewhere one night. We were talking. I mean, it was true. And you do not prevaricate.
No.
Maybe a little extra, but not really very much. It's
Well,
really true. I mean,
read
it's
Trump-
unbelievable.
I read.
Generals, for crying out loud.
I read
They
Trump's
were like gods.
famous book.
Yeah.
Trump's famous book. I love his book.
People I hate.
The Art of the Deal.
The Art of the Deal.
And
right.
in it he
The
explains.
Art of the Steal.
Well, it's about a deal, marketing
a
and
joke.
sales, So in his book, he says clearly, when you're selling things,
Yeah.
like yourself or a product,
Yeah.
you have to, here's his own words, you have to embellish it a little.
Say, embellish.
Yes, just a little bit.
Embellish.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, right. Just a little bit. Yeah.
So watch this. You'll like
Yeah.
this, Harold.
Okay,
Wait a minute. You'll like this.
I'm going to watch.
So I get my relative down in the FBI.
FBI, yeah. You
yeah,
brought FBI before. You fooled with the FBI.
So watch, but you're gonna like this. So I go.
Are you a spook? Are you a spook, really,
No.
for the system? Are you a show for the system? Is that what you're trying
That's
to
really funny to me, but
There's a lot of them around, man.
I don't want to get off on that.
No,
track.
let's not get off. You don't want to get off.
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Maybe it'd be better if
Well,
you did just once. You know,
okay.
just once.
Okay. Through my whole life, in the working with all these presidents, they always said to me, "You must be in the CIA."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I'm in the United States. I'm in the CIA." No,
Yeah.
I had to explain to them, the FBI's in the United States, the CIA's out of the country,
Yeah.
and we're here.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I left the corporate world temporarily, and I went to the United Nations in 1990.
I
And
know.
You know these
I
non-governmental.
helped you get to there.
Hold on a minute.
I got you
about to get
straightened
to
out,
this.
young man.
Yeah.
Get thee to the United Nations where the real stuff is there. I was going to use a
Did you
dirty
ever hear of
word.
non-governmental organizations?
NGOs.
Hey, we're going to save the world, those people, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a lot of good
So
people. A lot of good people.
I
trying
sit
to
on the
do
board
things.
of the non-governmental organizations for
I
4
know,
years. at
I
the
know,
United
I know.
Nations.
I remember.
And all the non-governmental organizations now come to me. They're not corporate people, and they say to me, "You must be in the CIA."
Why? Why?
I had it from the corporate world
Yeah.
for 57 years
Yeah.
and 27 years at the United Nations. They all said, you got to be in the CIA. So Sheila, my lovely wife,
Wonderful lady. I'm sorry that she
she
passed.
said, I have a gift for you, and you should wear this hat because I like these hats.
Yeah, IAED.
Yeah, but not this
International-
hat.
No, not this one. No.
She got me a special hat to wear at the United Nations
Yeah.
for all those NGOs.
What was it? What did it one say?
It
I
said,
probably know
it. said
it.
CIA.
CIA. What does it stand for?
I don't know. She said, well, if they keep calling you the CIA and you can't
Oh.
get away from it, you might as well wear the damn
Oh,
hat.
it wasn't
over
an
there."
acronym for some agency
No,
in
it's
CIA.
an actual CIA hat that you can buy down in the CIA.
For the Central Intelligence
Yeah.
Agency. So you were fooling with the Central Intelligence
No, I
Agency?
wasn't,
Were you a
but they-
spy? Were you a spy? Did you just creep around, European capitals in the dead of the night with strange music and cats running all over the place? And
No,
things
but
like-
watch this. I get this guy in the FBI. He's a relative.
Yeah.
He comes. We go down to Quantico for his graduation.
Quantico
And he
Marines.
had-
Marines. Yeah.
And
oh,
and
God, Marines.
what was the officer in charge of Quantico? He comes out and he gives a speech to the whole audience because the audience is full of the relatives of the graduating FBI guys.
Yeah. Oh,
The speech is-
FBI. yeah.
The speech is so good. Tears are pouring down my face.
Who? I missed. Who's giving the speech?
The head of the FBI.
Head of the FBI.
Yeah, he comes and he gives a speech because his graduating
Oh, is that the
FBIs.
world of?
just keep
No,
trying
wait,
to
that's
think
the
of
thing where they train the FBI
Yeah,
people at
down at
Quantico.
Quantico,
Yeah,
right.
right. That's right. Yeah.
And they invite the
Thing
family
of the
down.
Americas or something.
What
It's,
is the name?
it's called the Thing of the Americas or something of the Americas. Or it's a school for CIA.
No, that's down further.
What is that one called?
I forget what that's
They got
called.
a name
Oh,
for
yes,
that school.
yeah, something
they got
like
a school,
what you said.
and
yeah.
I think it's Quantico.
No.
Not
no.
Quantico.
Well,
Okay.
maybe they use them up there, but the main Quantico, it's where the Marine.
I forget the name
Marine
of that
base.
school where they train the spooks.
Yeah, you almost had
The
it.
spies, the
I
ones who
forget
go
before.
in and bomb things and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
So you're gonna like
SEALs.
this.
They have SEAls in the
Yeah, they
Navy.
have that.
Yeah.
So we had to go down there for the
Gung-ho
graduation, and
Yeah.
and the speech is basically, this man has given his life and signed his life off for the United States government, and he will sacrifice his life for you and your family, and you need to be loving to him and take care of him. And we're all in tears, the parents in tears. It was a very emotional thing. And then a week later, he's sitting at our dinner table up in New Jersey, at the end of the table, and the family's all there, and he says, I have to tell you that my first assignment in the FBI is to research everybody, the family, because I know the family, and we have to learn how to do research
There
on
could
people.
be leaks. There could be leaks.
Yes,
Leaks.
yes,
Leaks.
and he says,
Leaks.
and he says in front of the family, if I identify somebody in the family that shows some problems,
You get some
I'll
points.
have to turn you in, and
Yeah.
I get points.
You
for
get points. You get
turning
points.
in my family.
Turn
This
in
is
the
way-
family. That's
Yeah.
a way to be successful. Turn in your uncle. Turn in your aunt, and those little kids before they can know better. Yeah.
Right. So sitting at the other end of the table is my
There's
wife's
hope for a
mother,
better life.
my wife's mother.
Yes.
And she came from Germany under the Nazi, and she says, excuse me, are you including me also? And he said, Mother, I have to look at everybody. She says, well, I haven't heard that. She says, I haven't heard that kind of talk since I left Nazi Germany.
Right.
So she says, you can leave the table, and he didn't. He stayed for the table anyways.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
only a short time after that, I got called down to the FBI.
I would think so. Now we're getting down to
back
time.
to the beginning of this.
This is where we had to do a little time.
started
right?
at the
little
beginning.
time behind the bar.
See?
Yeah.
So here's what they tell me.
Figures. Yeah. See.
Watch.
See.
It'll reinforce with this guy. This guy's a smart watch.
Yeah.
So the FBI says to me, we thought you were a prevaricator.
I'm not going to say no.
A liar.
I'm not going to use the word no. I'm not going to use it as thought.
Maybe an imposter.
possibly.
Maybe an
Yeah,
imposter.
Maybe even an imposter. Yeah.
We looked at your
That's a
website.
liar in plenty in English. Yeah.
And we thought we may have to put you away.
We're going to put you away.
Yeah.
And you're going to be happy.
Yes, this
where
is my
you're going to
relative.
go.
And he's so happy that he's now turned me in to the FBI, and they're now examining me.
Big smile. Yeah. Well, okay, so that's the way it goes and everything like that. You've really had quite a, and it's all really good. You're still flying around in airplanes and stuff. Now you're doing.
Let me tell you what the FBI said at the end of it.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
3-month investigation.
Yeah.
Many times down in the office down there.
Yeah. No, what? Yeah, tell me. Have you got it on the? Have you got it recorded? And everything? Is it on the DVD or something?
They don't allow you to do that.
They don't do that, right?
But they did
make
say.
a hell of a movie, wouldn't it?
But
Wouldn't
they
it make
did
a
say-
hell of a movie?
They did
Who
say.
could play you? Me?
Yeah. me.
No, I can't. Even I can't act like that.
Yeah. Well,
I couldn't.
One of the questions they asked me is, they said, you cannot walk around the United States. This is how they started.
Yeah.
You cannot walk around the United States and call yourself the Director General of the International Agency for Economic Development.
Well, you did. You were the Director General of the Agency for the
Yeah, I
International
asked them,
Agency.
why
for-
can't I do that?
Why
They said-
can't you?
You know what they said?
What did they say?
That's a United States government organization, and you're not part of the United States government, and you cannot walk around calling yourself the Secretary General. No.
They finally got the right tenor of voice to talk to you properly.
Yes.
You cannot. You cannot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that straightens you
So-
out, and that's how you've been able to lead the good straight
Well,
life
I
now.
asked him, why
Yeah.
can't I do that?
Yeah, well,
They
oh,
said,
you- oh,
because
you
it's
asked.
a U.S. government thing.
Yeah.
And I said, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I said, don't you think the United States government should have an International Agency for Economic Development?
They should.
It'd be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Stop the presses. Stop the indictments.
And they're looking at me blank. I said, well,
Stop
wait a-
cleaning up the prison the cells. We've had an enlightened view of things from Gell. Yeah.
So I
A
said,
Gellism.
I said, well, wait a minute.
A Gellism.
Wait a minute. Don't you think the United States government should have this? But wait a minute. Don't you think the United Nations, I am the United, you ever call the United Nations on the phone? You have reached the United Nations.
That's a pretty deep voice.
Don't you-
Basil. Yeah. Basil. Yeah.
Don't you think the United Nations should have an International Agency for Economic Development? And I told the FBI, they don't have it, your government doesn't have it, and I formed it because it doesn't exist in 1990.
And
It's
because
my
it,
organization.
and because it
see?
was needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
IAED. Congratulations, young man. You've made it to the top.
Yeah, so their response after all that is, we found out you are the real thing. We didn't believe it. We suggest you take that damn website down. If we
Did
didn't
they
believe
apologize? Did they
it,
apologize?
no, but they complimented him in certain ways. But they did say we
We
found.
were wrong, Gell. We were wrong. No, you're not likely.
Well, then the other thing they
They're
said is,
never wrong.
oh, there were so many things there. They said, we may have to follow you around. I said, what does that mean? Go to my house and put bugs in the house? And he goes like this.
Is that the following around, right?
I guess. So I said to him,
Yeah.
I said, Sheila and I are going overseas for a month.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I reached in my
What are you
pocket.
doing? What are you doing?
I was getting my.
What are you doing?
I was getting my keys.
What are you
I
doing?
took my keys out and I put it on the table for
Yeah.
him. So I know they're going to get in the house.
Yeah.
So we're going overseas, and I'd like to leave my keys here. So when I come back, I know it'll be safe, and I can get in my house.
Yeah.
They're looking at me like you're some kind of a nut.
Yeah.
Which I am, obviously.
Yeah.
And we did, and then I came back about.
It pays to be ignorant, to be dense, to be dumb, to be ignorant.
But watch this, audience, because I don't want you to miss
It pays
this.
to be ignorant, just like me. That's
Yes.
a song from the 30s.
yes.
Yeah.
So watch this. Here's an example of not me, but this guy over here. So the FBI says to me, how the hell can you say you have a television show on the United Nations?
Yeah.
And I said, well,
He
what's,
did. He
I
had
said,
the television.
what's the name of it? He said, it's called Inside the United Nations Global Issues. You're
Yeah,
not
that's
even,
right. It was really a good show.
Yeah, it was on
It
the
was
air.
produced right here at MNNN. That's
And they said,
Lead the Life of Gell, and you too could end up at MNN.
Right.
The big time.
and then they said, how can you do that? It's against the law. There's international protocol agreements, can't be done.
Yeah.
And I said, very simple. Let me introduce you to Harold Channer.
Oh my God! You brought me out. You ratted me
I
out.
wouldn't have.
You ratted me out right there with the light shining in your face.
Did they come and talk to you later?
Well, I don't know. It could have been. Yeah, I've had people come and talk to me. Yeah. But I've explained to them.
I couldn't have done that show without you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I was glad you had some inspired leadership, in order to lead yourself down the primrose path to disaster.
And he applied the rule. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It was Harold Channer. And who he knew. Otherwise, I never would have been able to do that show.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
20
young
years,
man.
52 weeks. Oh, the FBI said, we have a name for you. I said, yeah, what's the name? He said, you're the only person who has a name like this in the FBI. And we think it's really funny. I said, okay, well, what is the name? He said, we've decided you are the most famous man in the United States of America that not a goddamn person knows.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a trick pulling that off.
Yeah,
and that's secret undercover.
I said, can we keep that secret? And ever since then, I go down to Boca Raton.
Yeah.
I sit in these big, massive markets, shopping centers.
Yeah.
Thousands of people. I wait
Yeah.
on Sunday. Thousands of people walking by. I'm sitting in a chair for hours saying, nobody knows me. I mean, I'm supposed to be. Nobody knows me. And then if somebody comes and sits in the chair next to me, I say, "Do you know me?"
You do? You do that?
Yeah,
do you do that?
Yes.
That's a Woody Allen
said
thing. That's Woody Allen, man. You could do. Do you know me? I don't. But do you know me?
And they say,
I'm trying
"No, I
to
don't
find
know you."
myself. I'm trying to find myself. I'm the real me.
Yeah, I've got a title, and I get no respect.
I can't get no respect, no
from
how.
New York.
No how. Yeah, right.
Now the reason they said it was, they said we looked at, we thought you were full of bull, and then we looked and we realized you had your television show right here in the studio for 20 years.
Yeah, right.
We multiplied 20 years times 52 weeks.
Yeah.
1 hour television show.
Yeah.
You only interview ambassadors, heads of state, heads of government, presidents, vice presidents. I said, yeah, because I was taught.
And how you keep track of?
Only work with, back to the military, the generals, only work with the guys at the top. So that was on the air. They said we multiplied 20 years times 52 weeks. We came up with the following. You have interviewed 1,040 world leaders of 193 countries. How the hell did you do that?
Absolutely
I
true.
go like this.
Absolutely true.
Harold Chandler.
Absolutely true.
Wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this
No,
guy.
it's absolutely true. I can swear by it. I know it's true.
See?
Yeah. And it used to be. And how do you do it at the UN? They got all these people from all over the world.
Yeah.
People like Schlamankadunk, Schnungadungading, the president of Dunkadoo, and all these names that you can. And he used to have the thing.
I have never.
Never. You do it. You tell him. He's never mispronounced Gonkadunk or Linkadink or Zinkadink or Pinkadink. The president pro temp of the Dunkadoo country of the. Yeah. He's never mispronounced any time because you found out and worked away to do that.
Yes, and Charlie Rose, right here in America, does wonderful. He often mispronounces the names.
Oh, well, those names they're just long, and they got all kinds of crazy conjunctions.
So
Go ahead,
So when I interview the ambassador,
everybody should be Smith.
I tell them all, I have never, in 20 years, ever mispronounced the name of an ambassador.
It's true, never has.
And then you'll have...
See, this is, boys and girls, write this one down. In case your GPR won't work, sometimes it doesn't work. You don't want to lose this one. Write it down now. Get a pencil. Mommy, get him a pencil. Get all the boys and girls a pencil and a pad to write this down.
Right.
Yeah. Advice to the youth of the world.
Yes.
From him.
And every ambassador then looks at me and says, well, you're going to have trouble. I guess this is going to be your first one. And I
Name's Glunkadink.
No, Your Excellency, this won't be the first one because I always have, as my audience knows, for 20 years, I always have the ambassador.
That was a card. That was
his
so
own name to the audience.
That was so smart. He always had the guy introduce himself. My name is Clunkadunkadee. Dinkadoo.
It's true.
Yeah, it was. Who was it? Durante, yeah? He used to do it. Jimmy Durante, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he used to pull that off, yeah. And that's a trick working over there, But at least you did. You got in touch with a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
And you got this International Agency for International Economic Development, and you're doing all this kind of work. And I'll tell you, it really is a good thing to be able to talk to you about all these things in your early your life and everything. Glad to get it all down on the record.
That was the past.
This record is going straight from here to Langley. They're going to want. We've got an arrangement with Langley here. They'll be wanting to do deep research on all of the nuance, not only of the words themselves, but the nuance of all the words that's behind it all.
No, I've been
also
vetted.
Deep psychological studies for all the graduate schools in schools of psychiatric problems.
Yeah. So I had a lot of trouble because when I developed this television show,
Yes.
I went to the #1 school in the United States.
Always, always,
journalism.
always go to the top.
Absolutely.
Always
So
go to the top. Don't mess
that's-
around with the schmucks.
see, he
right?
knows. He's learned also.
Yeah.
So I go to the #1 school in the United States in journalism. Do you know what school
I
that is?
do not know. United Nations?
No, Columbia University.
Columbia,
The
they have a
journal-
good
of
school. Yeah,
journalists,
yeah.
considered
That's.
the
I
best.
forget who's up there now. I
don't know.
Yeah, there's a
The-
bunch. Yeah,
the dean?
yeah. It's a big one. Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah.
So I go
right
over-
in the front door off the 116.
Yeah, I think
Right.
you and I have been there
Yeah, I've
for
been there,
lectures
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
We
yeah.
go up there for
Yeah.
So I go in there and I say, look, you guys are the #1 school in journalism, and none of your deans or professors and none of your graduate students did this, but I started the world's first and still only television show on the United Nations.
It's
And they
true.
immediately said, like professors, well, who are you? You know, we're in the. I am Professor McDuck. This is the Professor McDuck University,
Now
and you know, well, this is the attitude, and the attitude was,
Now you're
I
making-
hadn't. I'm not kidding. I couldn't even finish my point,
Mm.
and their attitude was, well, we don't need. You, I said, why are you here? I said, because I thought maybe we could do some kind of partnership because I got all this footage inside the United Nations. It's never been done before. The United Nations didn't have any 1 inch of film since 1945. I've got it. And it says, so why would we be involved with you? You don't have anything we don't. We're in New York City, just like you. We have the little badges from the United Nations. We don't need you. I said, no, I was trying to say, look, I got the footage. Nobody got the footage.
I got the real thing. You are a bunch of schmucks.
No, no,
no.
no.
You don't want to say schmucks.
No.
You don't want to use. I'm going to try not to use that word so much.
My
It's
point
just
is-
so appropriate. The word has got such feeling. Schmuck.
No, you don't want to
Yeah.
do that. See, my point was, I have the footage. You have the journalism school. You have the money. You have the capacity to stream this worldwide,
Yeah.
and it could be part of your library.
Yeah.
We don't need you because we are right here in New York City also. Who are you?
Do it again. Do it again. Do it. Do it. Can you just do it off that? Yeah. We don't need you. I can't do it. I can't do it. 'Cause I can't be done like you.
So
Just
I
like
said,
being,
Okay, but
Boris
you just-
Karloff or some character.
Yeah,
actor,
see, what I love to do is I love to set world records.
Yeah, of course you do.
That all the
Of
big, all
course
the
you
big
do,
people and
yeah.
supposedly smart people can't do.
Yeah, right. You like to show them off, right?
No, I just
you want,
like to-
you just like to be up there without being recognized by any of those
Yeah.
people that have all kinds of false credentials.
No,
Well, look, if you want to take responsibility for the world the way it is right now,
Yeah.
and you want to take responsibility for the world, the crisis-ridden world. You want to take responsibility? It's all yours, man.
Yeah.
But listen, what we're going to have to do is
No, don't end
no,
this
no,
show.
don't. No, we can't. We got to end this show, and then what we got to do in the second show.
Oh.
We got a second show coming up.
You're in
And
for
what
more
we're
of
gonna
this.
do is what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at the world in
Okay.
serious terms
Oh.
about where it is. What is this? This is 2017 in the Christian era of a thing where we've been around 200,000 years, and we've come to a point where maybe it's time for something really evolved
Yeah.
to develop above what we have done and managed to do in this world over these last 200,000 years. And we're going to talk about some of those things, but
How the 1% got all the money and all the
well,
power?
that's another issue.
Oh,
We're going
okay,
to talk about that.
okay.
That's it, but we're out of time, pal. We're out of time for this. Thank you
for having me.
Thank you for your pleasure. I have the perception, the Derry Gell. Thank you for viewing. We'll be coming, stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll be talking about how the world looked from the past and how it's going to look from the future in the program upcoming. It'll air tomorrow. Thank you for viewing, and thank you for coming in. Get all the kiddies to get all their notes together and everything. Make sure they haven't missed one sterling moment of this memorable event. Thank you for viewing. Okay, that's it. 58 minutes.
Was that we were trying to not an interview? This was an entertainment show.
That was
Very good.
that was good. Now,
See how it weaves in too. It's not me. It's him.
Very good. You're a very good entertainer.
okay, I'm going to go and get this one going. Get a copy being made.
Be sure to unplug yourself.
I know. I got to do that.
I'm going to unplug myself.
And
How
it's
much time do we have between?
it's really all true.
That's the trouble.
Your life is beyond belief.
No, it's like you said a long time ago. Well, I've decided what you are. You're the damn Gump. You're the real world Gump.
Yeah, Forrest Gump, yeah. That's a good one. Okay, I'm going to go get this copy being made, and then